Greetings, welcome to the Geek's Attic. I am Matthew, and I'm going to do a brief Star Wars book review of Dark Disciple. Sorry, this will contain minor spoilers. Kind of hard to do this review without spoiling anything. I'm not going to tell you the ending, but just you've been warned. Spoilers are ahead. Star Wars Dark Disciple is the 5th book in the new Star Wars canon. It takes place after Attack of the Clones and before Revenge of the Sith during the Clone Wars era. I don't like the Clone Wars era. The beginning of this book is great. It's definitely a page-turner. Starts off with Count Dooku causing some problems and ending lives. The Jedi come up with this secret plan to send in one of their own to meet with someone else who dislikes Count Dooku to assassinate him. After the first couple of chapters, I started to lose hope. The Jedi Council is written poorly. Yoda sounds just like he does in the Clone Wars, which is nothing like The Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. Mace Windu is very angry, and Kenobi. I'll come back to Kenobi. So the Jedi Council chooses Quinlan Vos to meet up with Asajj Ventress and try to gain her trust to eventually assassinate Count Dooku. And these characters are written well. It is their story after all. But Ventress does evolve very quickly in this story and kind of becomes somebody completely different. Now I remember Ventress's voice being very raspy and kind of manly, so reading some of her lines came off very cheesy. Spoiler, Ventress eventually trusts Vos, but she must train him in the ways of the dark side before they can assassinate Dooku, because apparently the only way to kill Count Dooku is to be a dark force user. That makes no sense. So the question I had from the very beginning of this book was, why did the Council send one Jedi to go meet with one other person that uses the Force to eventually maybe assassinate Dooku? Why didn't they just send in their own team and wipe him out? So Vos and Ventress meet up with Dooku and have a duel. Ventress gets distracted and is taken somewhere else during this fight. Vos gets captured by Dooku and falls a little bit to the dark side. Ventress, left alone, gets depressed, hits the bars. There's a lot of drinking in this book, by the way. Ventress sets up a rescue mission with some bounty hunters. And of course, it's the same bounty hunters we've known through the entire Star Wars saga. Who would have known that there's only like 12, okay? That took me out a little bit. After the failed rescue attempt, she meets up with the Jedi and is taken before the Council. She tells them what's going on. They wipe her slate clean because now she's honest. So all those murders that she's committed are now wiped clean. She's free. After the Council learns that Vos has fallen to the dark side, Kenobi and Anakin are assigned to go and execute both Dooku and Vos. Obi-Wan Kenobi, in this book, is the biggest crybaby, liberal weirdo you've ever read about. He thinks if they execute these dark force users, they're just as evil. He thinks that the dark force users are victims themselves. Now, I don't recall Kenobi acting anything like this in Revenge of the Sith when he was told to go execute Anakin Skywalker. Pretty sure he was all about it. Anyway, the story was told well, just very cheesy, and I could have done without it. It got weird, a lot of questions that could have been resolved very early on in the book. If you visit my website at www.thegeeksaddict.com, I have a more in-depth review, so feel free to check that out. So I'm going to be nice and give this book 2 out of 5 stars. It's not the best, and it's not the worst. Heir of the Jedi is the worst, and Lords of the Sith is by far the best Star Wars book that I've read. So if you haven't picked that one up, check that out. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe so you'll be notified when I post more videos. Also, check out the description box. I'll have a link to my website and all my social media links. Have a good one.